So just another awful day in America. I'm Matt Levine. Welcome to the Red Dawn Media channel right here as I talk about the death, the assassination, a political assassination of one Charlie Kirk. 31 years old. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. A political pundit, an activist, a pioneer, an expressionist, an opinionist, an educated, not college educated, dropout from college, but what I'd call an educated entrepreneurial spirit. Certainly made his mark, and he'll forever be remembered in the fabric of America for simply utilizing and extending his First Amendment right like no one else ever could with the First Amendment. That'll live on, and the name Charlie Kirk will live on in infamy. I certainly want to send my condolences to his family, Charlie Kirk, and his two young kids, his wife, Erica. Now, this beautiful family stuck without their dad. Why? Because of a bullet. Political beliefs. Take out Charlie Kirk today in Utah. At a college in Utah, in Orem, Utah. Utah Valley University. And it started out midday. I'm here just working away in the studio here at Red Dawn Media. And you see the headline. That was the last headline. If I go in order. Charlie Kirk. Well, that was in order. I don't know where the hell I am, but here you go. The first one. Trump says Charlie Kirk shot dead during an event at Utah Valley University. That came after. And then the headlines started trickling in. Trump confirmed it. One by one. Charlie Kirk was verified to be dead. They say the shooter was about 200 yards away. Was able to hit him in the neck. I'm going to roll the video. One time. Here you go. Take a look and listen for yourself.
I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great. I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Like I said, one time. Roll the video. Horrible. Just horrible. You see once, you see it enough. You know, I sat here yesterday on the Red Dawn Media channel. I did a video about someone who was anonymous. All of a sudden they became famous for all the wrong reasons. And it was this young lady right here. Irina Zarutska, who was killed in Charlotte by a maniac in public, on the light rail, on public transportation. And I said how commonplace, how kind of we're getting used to murders in America. And then you see today, Charlie Kirk, again, age 31, taken out. First of all, just a great voice to have in America, regardless of the side, the politics you're on, right or left. He gave people an opportunity and was so unique, so skillful and tactful. As a broadcaster myself, I'd watch this guy with his comebacks and his wit and his ability to let someone agree to disagree. Get their points in, give him an opportunity to speak, and then he'd fire back with just this eloquent, smart, poignant response and challenged everyone intellectually. And he won on these campuses. Believe me, I know a lot about campuses. I went to one, a big one. And they say your teenage years are your formative years. But when you're in college, you're developing upon those formative years. You're making political decisions that are deep-sided, that become subconscious on a level where they steer a lot of ways and direct the rest of your life. And you're getting influenced. And you face peer pressure that is just unbelievable on any other level that you've never faced. You're all of a sudden an adult. You're trying to get grades. You're trying to go out into the world. You face all this social pressure. In other words, it's hard or sometimes difficult to speak up and oppose the opposition, which is no doubt right now is the friggin' rad left. You know, I'm going to talk about it. I'm getting so tired of it. So tired of seeing this shit every day. The bullets flying on one side. And you saw this guy give the forum to everyone to come speak. Get your ideas out. That's what America's all about. You know, we go into tomorrow. It's already 24 years of 9/11. That's my flag. No, we'll never forget. Like, we'll never forget Charlie Kirk. Never forget 9/11. But we go into tomorrow, that anniversary of 9/11. Man, America took a ding on that day. I'd never forget. We bounced back. We were resilient. We were one as a country, unified. But now you see this. And these headlines. This guy right now paying the ultimate price for this. The First Amendment, the U.S. Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. That's what it's all about. Not receiving bullets on the other end. Was this a political assassination? You're damn right it was. That was the first thing I thought of, on top of who took the shot. Why hasn't he been apprehended? Why were the police and the law enforcement, they apprehended someone, they were so quick to say, you know, there's a shot fired from a far distance, almost like it was premeditated and folks were in on it, in on the know. Who knows? We saw Butler, Pennsylvania, about a year ago, right? A year and a couple months ago. You saw this screwed up kid take a shot with the .22 from a mere 100 yards out. No Secret Service. He's climbing a ladder on the goddamn roof. Open pot shot against a former president and a president-elect of the United States. If that can happen, anything can happen. And then you get the rad left and you get the media and the Democratic media, which has become a vehicle for the rad left. And they incite violence. They stir the pot up time and time again. Over and over again. The more this wants to happen, the more the chaos starts to prevail. Mud and munitions. Thank you for checking it out. Here on the Red Dawn Media channel, we got Mike McClure. Mike, what's up, my man? How you doing? Don't get me wrong, Charlie Kirk, a huge proponent of President Trump and a huge factor. I remember in 2016, which seems like many, many moons ago, he was a young man, started Turning Point USA as a 19-year-old, like I said, dropped out of college, a college dropout, latched on to MAGA, became an ally, a proponent of President Trump. Not only helped him greatly reach out to the youth, but also 2024, a more grown-up version of Charlie Kirk, about 30 years old, but wiser, much more seasoned, really pushed Trump over the finish line. You know, you talk about the fact that Trump was able to work the new media channels. He did all the podcasts. He did Joe Rogan. He was able to get out and meet with people. He worked the McDonald's drive-through window, drove in the garbage truck, and so on and so forth. It was a case of Trump being Trump. And all those people pushed him over the finish line. But perhaps, no one was bigger in 24 and 16 of helping Donald J. Trump, giving him an assist. You know, the guy who gave Gretzky many assists, the Mark Messier. He's less known for the goals that Gretzky scored, but without him, how many goals wouldn't Gretzky have had? Same thing. You need a good teammate. You need a reliable source to help push you over the top, and that's what this guy was. So America today, you know, we all bleed red, whatever color skin you have, but we bleed red, white, and blue for Charlie Kirk. Those flags of mine tomorrow, hopefully it's not raining here in Florida. It's been raining forever. It doesn't stop. We got another friggin' leak in the roof, but that's a story for another day. You guys don't want to hear. But I got to fly those flags at half-mast tomorrow. That's going to be the honor and tribute around the country. Because, yeah, I'm in grief. I'm in shock. I'm in grief. I'm in prayer. Lord, use this tragedy. But I'm also pissed off. And there comes a time where you fight back with all the vigor you have, and you remember a biblical term of epic proportions. It's simple. An eye for an eye. Doesn't mean necessarily that the bullets have to fly. You don't want the violence. You want peace. But you have to play dirty. And that's what the rad left does. And that's what the Democrats do. And President Trump, I'm ecstatic at the job he's done. You know, he's come out with the tariffs. Number one, he's shut down the border. He's trying to bring down inflation, lower the cost on everyday goods, for your gasoline, for your groceries. Overall, I am ecstatic. I'm happy. And I'm happy at the job he's done. But, there's always a but. I want him to kick it up a notch. And that includes his cabinet. A huge fan of Pam Bondi, don't get me wrong. She's the Attorney General for quite some time in my home state of Florida. She's an ass kicker. But you know what I want to see? I want to see retribution. I want to see hands behind the back. I want to see cuffs. I want to see perp walks. I want to see the swamp taken down emphatically. Enough. Enough of the bullshit. Enough of the bullshit. Enough of the bullets flying. The political assassinations. Utah's got a very well-spoken governor. Not all the states do. My state does with Governor Ron. But you look at, as my friend Mudded Munitions would say, the communist state of New York. And you look at Hochul. Everything's double speak. I just said BS twice, like, what's his face in Goodfellas, right? Johnny two times. I'm going to get the newspapers. But that's what she is. Bullshit. Speaks out of two sides of her mouth. But the guy in Utah speaks very well. And I'm going to give you a little clip right now. This is Utah Governor Spencer Cox. He talked about Charlie Kirk and whether he thought it was a political assassination. Without further ado, let me roll up the clip here of Governor Cox. And you can take a listen for yourselves.
He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country. to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Well spoken. A good man right there. Governor Cox of the state of Utah. Yes, they still have the death penalty. I'd like to see it used. And I'd like to see it almost like if you think of, God, I quote Braveheart way too much, but the end of Braveheart. When they take him out into the public square, William Wallace. Unfortunately, he didn't deserve what he got. Right? But they gave him a couple of choices. The guillotine, the cleaver. People are throwing rotten tomatoes, fruit, vegetables at them. Stones at him. In other words, they were able to take care of business in a public square. That's what needs to happen almost. You need to have an example made. This has to stop. You can't have anonymous people like the young lady that we all know about now, and I highlighted a few minutes ago, Irina. We don't need to know about people like this. She needs to go on with her life, and if she becomes famous, it's not because she was attacked by some nut job in a Charlotte train on her way back from work at a fast food pizza joint. She's trying to save enough money to buy a car. Recently came to the United States. Should never know her story. Like I said, unless she becomes famous like Charlie Kirk. And I should never know the story that I'm repeating to you today. I should never have to show you disgusting clips of this man being assassinated. Look at the quote there. The happiest women in America are married with children. The unhappiest are unmarried without children. Get married, have babies. Absolutely. A big proponent of the nuclear family. Something that the rat left absolutely gets disgusted about. That's up there with every other reason that the rat left has TDS. The nuclear family bothers them. Guys like Charlie Kirk bothered them. He let people speak the truth. He allowed people to exercise the First Amendment. Very successful in launching his concept of Turning Point USA. I did a great job, Turning Point USA. Over 3,500 campuses they were able to touch. 850 plus campus chapters. Giving, again, students a forum, an opportunity to express their opinion, to exercise their rights. They had events throughout the nation at campuses just like they had today on the college campus in Utah, where he lost his life. President Trump, he spoke
up in those charts, just like we
today
have in
as
everything
well.
else we've done. And I think it's one of the most important things we're
This is
doing
an
at
old
this
footage
table.
of our
So
commander in
bringing
chief.
education
I
back to
wanted
the
to
states
share with
where
you,
you
I
have
thought
the parents
Florence
running it,
37.
where you have the school boards that are local.
Our
We
First
have
Lady
people running
Melania
for
Trump. I liked her dedication or words that she shared on X the most. I'm going to read that to you. Charlie's children will be raised with stories instead of memories, photographs instead of laughter, and silence where their father's voice should have echoed. Charlie's life should serve as a symbolic reminder that compassionate awareness elevates family, love, and country. Amen to that. Good to see a real First Lady with grace. You know what I always say about Flotus 47? It's grace and beauty combined. And she handles herself well. And she is very poignant and a voice of reason. And you've seen several folks today come out. Of course, on the right. You've seen it on the left. Folks taking shots. The creepy governor, talking about governors before, Pritzker, kind of dancing around, well, maybe he got a taste of his own medicine. I'm paraphrasing, but you get an idea that it goes all the way that high up on the left, that basically they'll say the guy was a firebrand politically, a rebel rouser. I read Accords today where members of the rad left are talking about how he stirred the pot up several times on the Democratic side when there were issues of violence, and saying he was an inciter of violence. He was a firebrand, an outlet for MAGA to get everyone riled up. Not the case, like I've said, time and time again right here on this broadcast, on the Red Dawn Media channel. He was giving an opportunity for equal ground. I grew up in an America where you'd simply disagree. You'd agree to disagree and you'd be friends. You'd go on your way. You'd toast drinks. You'd have a good time. But now everything has been ratcheted up. And if this is the game you're going to play on the left, well, the right needs to match them. And you need to shut them down. And like I said about Trump, I'm happy about everything. But he needs to nip this in the bud for good. And amongst everything I talked about, yeah, absolutely. It's what I voted for. So stick that where the sun don't shine. But I'd like to see President Trump ratchet things up a bit and start taking care of business for good. Put the rad left to bed when it comes to political assassinations and violence, and having these DAs, mayors like the scumbag in Charlotte look the other way and constantly let criminals out on the street. It's going to be very interesting now to see, as we remember Charlie Kirk, and his legacy will continue. And one of the first thoughts I had, and it's become a prevailing thought tonight, as you see on the media, is that he will be a martyr. You know, a lot of times in death, in certain ways, he may be more powerful than ever now. And I gave you some facts about Turning Point. They're a near $100 million organization. They're funded well. They're even going to be funded even better now. They have more people fighting for them. His ideas will live on. His establishment, it's just getting started. Just like MAGA. You can't put it down. It's going to survive. But you need to match the left, and you need to play dirty. And you need to level the playing field. Because reporting on stories like Charlie Kirk, who's famous, dying every day, or an unknown like Irina, who becomes famous and gets brutally murdered. These are day-to-day occurrences. This is not the America I was brought up in. This is not the America I want to live in. And I turn to President Trump and his cabinet to go, TCB, take care of business, get it done. No more political assassinations, no more stories like Charlie Kirk. And he's irreplaceable. I was thinking that there's no one else in the same ilk. You know, it's very similar to me with Rush Limbaugh, who was the absolute voice of conservatism for decades. Irreplaceable. One of these characters that comes into the world here in America, right place, right time. They have a unique set of talents. They have a unique way of communicating and reaching other people. And they were put here by a higher authority for a reason. And as Billy Joel said in his song, only the good die young. Again, 31 years old Charlie Kirk, the victim of a political assassination in Utah. My heart bleeds today for America, for Charlie Kirk's family, and for all of us. We need to do better. We must. And what an embarrassment this story is. That was one of the first thoughts I had too. You know, I was sharing some of the first thoughts I had were this had to be a political assassination. Who did it? How's that investigation going to happen? And just like yesterday, I keep showing her picture. I thought to myself, what a friggin' embarrassment. What an embarrassment America has become. People watch this all over the world and think to themselves, gosh, what happened to America? That's got to end. You look what Trump's been able to do in Washington, D.C., and roll out the National Guard and put all the law enforcement. If that's what he has to do in every city, every town, every state in the United States to clean it up, then do it. And at some point, like I've said, you got to match the dirty rad left. You got to play their dirty brand of politics until you can drain the swamp for good. So once again, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. My thoughts, my prayers are with your family, your loved ones, your fans. I'm one of them. I'll never forget you. You will live on. And what you do in life echoes in eternity. Again, I'm quoting Gladiator. So a sad day in America. We will continue on. Those flags will fly half-staff. Of course, 9/11, never forget it. And my prayers go out to all those families still suffering 24 years later. The agony will never go away. And just like this guy's poor family now left without their dad, who did such great work on planet Earth in his time. His message will live on, and we'll never forget Charlie Kirk for who he was and what he did. Rest in peace.